Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I am your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing this new movie that came out just last month called...
No, this month.
No, just last month.
Oh, that's right, April, that's right, yeah. Yeah, it's my mistake.
That was called The Titanic 666. And, of course, the date, you obviously know, is 2022.
Yeah, it's only released on the 15th of April. So how warm and how new do you want these, okay?
Mm-hmm. And as you probably may or may not be aware, we did two other Titanic movies previously.
But they were real ones.
But they were semi-real.
This is a horror movie.
This one, the second one we reviewed was more of a mocker...
a little bit like not a mockumentary, but some weirdo thing. Yeah.
This one is more like a supernatural horror.
It's a horror thriller sort of thing. So, I'll talk about the horror thriller a bit later on. But okay, I'll get into my usual bits now. Produced by David Michael Latt, L-A-T-T. Directed by Nick Lyon. Written by Jacob Cooney and Jason White. Now, production company was the Asylum, and it was being made for or being streamed by Tubby TV. And I believe at this point, Tubby TV may be the only place you can view this.
Ooh.
Okay. It may expand out a bit later on. It may be released on other platforms or whatever. But yeah, Tubby at the moment is the only place to see it. And like I said, it was released on the 15th of April, so it is relatively new. It is about 2 or 3 weeks. It's been over 2 or 3 weeks ago.
As I said, we mentioned in podcast last time when we were reviewing the Titanic movies, this one came out on its anniversary of the Titanic when it sank. So it's a bit of a interesting one to review. I know we previously did two of them, as I said.
Yeah, but we did a bit like the dramas and stuff. But this is a horror movie, so we think the genre it's a genre jump as well. So it's okay. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, it
now,
is.
Here you go. I won't go into too much. I can't tell you the budget, and I can't tell you the box office, because I don't know the budget, and there was no box office. There you go. And if there was a box office, a bit on the early side, because they hadn't been out for a few weeks. Now, cast. Now, this is interesting.
Cast of houses. No, it isn't.
No, well, boatload. No, just do the main ones. Okay. Cast. There was a very attractive lady named Keisha Sharp. She plays Captain Celeste Rhodes. So we have a beautiful, very attractive female captain of the latest Titanic. Actually, it's a Titanic III is the number of the boat.
Yeah, what happened to the second one?
It sank probably. Now the I suppose the main lead is played by Jamie Bamber. He plays Professor Hal Cochrane, who was a naughty professor type who salvaged stuff off the wreck of the original Titanic, jewellery, rings, odds and ends, plates and stuff.
Violin from
the guy who played You Go and You're My God to Thee, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's selling them to make a shitload of money out of it. But he's part of the problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he's part of the problem.
He sort of becomes the next Bruce Esme, if you will.
Sort of. Now, here we go. Lydia Hurst plays Edina Bess. So she is Captain Smith's granddaughter or great-granddaughter. I think it's great. Yeah. And she has been tormented by the souls of the damned from 100 years ago, and she's into black magic and stuff. So she plays a very instrumental part in getting the story along quite nicely.
She's just a loony, to be honest.
Well, she's a loony and she's into the black arts. Okay. Now, Anna Lynn McCord plays Mia Stone. I just call her the selfie lady, partly because she's self-absorbed. It's all about her, and her husband is continually taking pictures, videos, whatever of her, saying how great, wonderful life is and the boat's wonderful. A bit like an influencer, maybe.
Well, that's what she is. And these days, influencers do make a lot of money. She is really over the top. It is. It's constant through
the movie until she's no longer part of the movie. Now, Derek Yates plays Jackson Stone, her husband. Now, last two people I'm going to mention are a guy called Joseph Gatt. He plays Brian Andrews. I think he's like a security guard. You the bald guy?
Yeah, the bald-headed guy.
Yeah, I think he's about boat security. And there's a lady called Jay Castles. He plays Julie. She's boat staff. I'm not quite sure whether she's an entertainment director or something or other, but she bounces around the passengers there, making sure everything's really groovy and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now plot. Well, Sarah will tell you the plot in a minute. I normally talk about production later, but it's only a quickie. I believe the film location was on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. Ta-da!
Ta-da.
One location. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
again, guys, Mike here and I, we both viewed the movie yesterday night, and we noticed a few teeny weeny things that we couldn't work out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
No, look, I know there's a couple of things. You get what you get sometimes.
You get what you pay for.
They're doing a location shoot. And obviously there's going to be a few little things there which, could have been tied up a little bit better. But I'll talk about when we do the post-mortem later. Now...
we had the same conversation back when we did the first two... when we did the Titanic II movie, where we noticed a few things that didn't look quite right.
Yeah, you look... Okay, we're going to talk about it later, but I'll talk about it now. If I was doing a movie now, right now, I would have at least one or two or three people, the props person and somebody, I don't know what to call it, one who keeps an eye on the scenes and make sure the scenes are set up properly, or like, when I make a vase of flowers is there and the painting's there and that's there. Whatever, one who organises the scene to make sure it's consistent, so if you've got to do a reshoot, everything's fine. So somebody manages that, okay? So if you're doing that, you'd also think, if I'm going to do a movie and I want something to be a new location, like a new, recently built, it shouldn't look like it's 20 years old. That sort of stuff. So a coat of paint here and there, a little bit of TLC around the edges, bit of cosmetic stuff to make it look new. Yeah. And that's where some of these things, that movie Sarah was alluding to a few moments ago, that Titanic II, whatever it's called. It's supposed to be a new boat. And there was rust marks on the boats. Now, it's a brand new boat. Hello? So they could have put a coat of paint just there where those rust marks were, just behind the actors, just so it looks like it's a new boat.
Yeah.
Don't paint the whole boat, just the part where they're doing the scene. But little things like that get up my nose. I mean, I know it's being pedantic and stuff, but to me, when you start seeing stuff like, well, how much care have they put into it? Did they really care? Was it a really skinny budget? I don't know, but if I was doing it, I'd make sure it was looking what it's supposed to be.
Because when I look at some of the sets they did in this movie, not the big grand stuff like the staircases
the grand stuff was good because that was the main part of the boat.
Yeah. But when it came to small rooms, like one room that looked like it ought to be a staff accommodations, but the staff kind of accommodations didn't look exactly like that anymore. Probably it's been more updated and a little bit more developed.
But you can't do much about that. But
then there's the place where you keep your luggage and stuff.
Yeah,
they look like it was not even well built properly.
No, they did a shoot in the hold where to put all the luggage, not all the luggage, the big stuff, the cargo. And this girl, well, I won't tell you too much about the story.
Tell them about the
No, I won't tell the story, but there's a lady, Captain Smith's great granddaughter was down in the hold area. It looked like almost like a construction site. There was this crap all over the place. No one even cleaned it up for the shoot.
Yeah.
It didn't look like an active boat. It looked like a derelict boat almost.
I know. So, I never went down to a ship's hold.
It wouldn't be messy like that.
But it wouldn't be messy. Yeah. It would be a little bit organised, stuff like that.
Oh, well, go on there. No one's going to notice the crap over there and the crap over here. No. It wouldn't be like that. It would be neat and tidy and organised. And if there's stuff in there, have empty boxes stacked up neatly or something or other.
Exactly.
Some pallets, whatever. Not just a piece of ladder over here or something else thrown in the corner over there, like it's a junk shop.
Yeah, because ferries today are probably more better.
This is an ocean liner.
I know, an ocean liner, but I imagine ferries are a little bit more organised.
Ferries, motion liners, whatever. Even aeroplanes, they put everything in neatly so they can get it out neatly. You're going to need access to things occasionally. You don't just have crap all over the place. So little things get up my nose. Yeah, I'm an old pedantic old bugger. Anal. Someone actually referred to me once as anal retentive and pedantic. Well, maybe I am. However, I do like things. I like people to dot the I's and cross the T's when they're making a movie.
Yeah, especially if it's supposed to be a believable movie.
You're trying to make when you see little things taking away from the realism, and you start saying, "Oh yeah, they didn't care that much about the movie when they're making it because they would have, if they really cared, they would have made that extra effort to make it just a little bit better."
Okay, do you want me to dive into the story
you
itself?
dive in, literally.
Funny.
Splash.
So, so we opened on the movie, and we opened back to 1912, I think it was, when the original Titanic sank.
1912, whatever, yeah.
And it takes place where everyone is scattering and trying to get onto the lifeboats. One fell into the water, crashing,
Blah,
and
blah.
I guess some of the passengers inside the lifeboat, end up
some fell out. Yeah, whatever. We know how it goes,
and possibly the boat itself. The little lifeboat sinked with
Let's
the
just say
boat.
It starts at the beginning of the movie, the sinking of the original Titanic.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
A woman is on the on the boat that's keeled over. You may have heard us talk about a boat that was keeled over, and only people were able to stand on the
upside down. The hull. Yeah.
And she sees her boyfriend on a piece of wood. She waves to him and tries to get him to come over, but then somehow the piece of wood snaps and he falls into the water. Then the next minute we see something hovering in the water. She sees it. And then we see something grabbing her. It's her boyfriend. And he pulls her into the water.
Yay.
Yeah, and he looks like a zombie.
Yeah, the black eyes and stuff, really good. Yeah.
Very creepy.
Yeah, well, it's been overdone, but it works.
Yeah. Now we flash forward to 2022, I think it is.
Whatever.
And
now, 2022.
And it's the anniversary of when they launched the new Titanic, probably in America, because by the sound.
Yeah, they're going to go from America to England or something, like they did in Titanic II.
Yeah, there is a similarity there. And
they do a reverse trip, is that okay?
And the guy who's organising is this professor guy named Professor
Hal Cochrane, okay?
Hal Cochrane.
Just say Hal.
Okay, Hal. And he's got these, on board, the Titanic III, are these rare artifacts, possibly from the sinking tank.
They were, and he's trying to sell them to the rich folk on this boat, because obviously a lot of rich folk have bought tickets for this maiden voyage. Yeah.
And he, in turn, has one of the awesome relics on his finger, which is Captain Smith's wedding band.
Yeah, on his finger.
Yeah, and he's not going to sell.
That's very contemptuous, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, everyone is organised. Everyone is excited, and we have our two influencers who are bent on making a good YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah, Mia and Jackson. Yeah. Oh, look, you could say they're the comic relief. I don't know what you want to call them.
I don't know what you can call them.
And cannon fodder.
I'm kind of glad they get cannon fodder.
Well, they become the first ones. Yeah. Well, I won't say anything.
Yeah, they're not exactly the best people to look at in this movie.
Well, she's a rather attractive woman. Don't get me wrong, but she's very obnoxious. They're the sort of tourists you don't want on your tour.
Yeah. So we get onto the boat and we get a stowaway that turns out to be
bag opens itself.
Yes. It's Ida. I mean, what's her name?
Not Eyes. Look. Her name is Idina.
Idina Bess, the great-granddaughter to Captain Smith, as we told you. Yeah. And she's there to tries to summon the dead
spirits
from those
Watery
artifacts
grave.
I mentioned.
Yeah, she needs a link to them using some of the artifacts. So she steals a few from the display where
she steals
uh,
I
it's,
guess
uh,
a
the
hairpin
professor,
from one of the displays, and she heads down to the
yeah,
hold.
she got something else too. A hairpin.
She was going to take the violin, which was which the violin I should mention.
Did she take the violin? Because
No,
he
she
tried
doesn't.
She took the hairpin and something. He grabbed two things off the counter.
I think she took two,
And a letter?
just a hairpin and a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, that's right. Jewelry. That's right. Yeah.
Anyway,
But that's a link to the past and the dead people.
See, the violin, as you may have heard, there was a song that was played while the original Titanic went down.
My God, yeah. It's in all the movies.
Yeah, it's a religious song that everyone who survived the Titanic originally remembers that song and has told in police statements and stuff, and all that stuff. And it has been, to this day, been well known and remembered. And this becomes its sort of theme song in this movie.
There was a song, a fun song done. I think it was called "The Dance Band on the Titanic," and it says, "The dance band on the Titanic played nearer, my God, to thee. Icebergs on the starboard bow. Won't you dance with me?" Someone.
Mike also mentioned something to me last night when we were watching the Titanic. You said something about it's impossible how the violin will be still intact.
Oh yeah, yes. Look, a violin, whether it's a Stradivarius or a Tipanasti, is made out of some thin wood.
Yes.
It's been soaked in the ocean for 100 years. Salt water, bacteria, everything else. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that wood would have been totally decomposed.
And rotted out.
And rotted and everything. Pick it up? No, it will have fallen apart. And actually, another point too, with the strings on it, if the strings remained with a tension, if the tension stayed on the strings longer than and didn't decay as fast as the wood decayed, the strings tension would have folded the violin in half.
Exactly.
Because it would have just broken.
Yes, so guys,
whatever. But I think it was catgut on the old strings, so
as for
they might have gone early.
The jewelry side, I went online in the past and went online to see if all the salvage, bits and pieces, the original submarine guys who salvaged from the Titanic, and there was a few jewelry bits, a few bits of pottery and bit of plates and cups from the original Titanic that wasn't damaged.
We're going to talk about the movie in a minute. If they went down there and they did if you went into the dining room and kitchens, all the metal things, the stainless steel, and silverware, and that's what a lot of that stuff would be intact.
True.
I shouldn't break down.
Yeah.
Now the wood, tablecloths, that sort of stuff, that'd probably go. But plates, good china plates, metal things, knives, forks, jewellery made of gold, silver, diamonds, all that stuff would be intact if you can find it.
Yeah. Anyway, so these things are being auctioned off in this movie.
No, it's sold.
I mean, sold off in this, and this Hal guy wants to make a big bundle
He wants to make a mozza.
Yeah, he tries to approach millionaires who may have money, who may want to buy a piece of history.
Yeah, and the cost is no question of these rich folk. They'll pay anything to get a piece of the action. Now, having said that security guard guy, Brian Andrews, he's sort of an unofficial partner to this professor. And you're getting about, is it 10% or something? Or
10% off 12%.
Yeah, to allow him to, so he's steering people towards the professor so he can sell to them or skin them alive money-wise or whatever.
Yeah. So on the night in question of when the Titanic sank, they arrive at the spot, and while this is happening, the Captain Smith's granddaughter is in the hold, chanting to the ghost to come back and take revenge.
She's doing a ritual. Actually, the guy who reviewed it called the seance. It wasn't a bloody seance. He was doing a ritual to summon the dead.
There is a big difference between seance and
summoning the dead.
This is more like a summoning.
He's summoning, yeah. So he's there doing a ritual to summon the dead spirits to get revenge on these people on the new boat.
See, a seance is more to contact the spirits, but not necessary to do other things.
But she was trying to manipulate them. and let them loose.
Yeah. Our two influencers witness this, and they think it's all just some kind of stage play or something.
Well, no, the lady was a weirdo. Okay?
Yes, I know, but that's what the influencers
No, that's
thought.
what they thought. What's the stage play? Then why would you have a stage play by herself down the luggage hold?
I don't know. Why does anyone go down to a luggage hold in the middle of the boat is beyond
To
me.
summon demons and stuff.
I meant them. I
I
meant the influencers. Why would they go down to a hold?
No, they're going all over the boat. They're going to parts they shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll seat down here and take some pictures. And look at this. We're down the engine room. Look at that. Yeah. That sort of crap. Yeah.
Along with another, a fan also watches them and witnesses the whole thing too.
Yeah. She's almost like a stalker, that fan.
Anyway, the team, the group eventually leaves, and then we see the witch summon Captain Smith from his watery grave.
Good old Captain Smith. Doesn't look a day over 200. No,
he looks like looks like part skeleton, part zombie.
With no eyes.
No eyes.
No, doesn't look skeleton. He just looks pale skinned, a bit of frosty water or ice on him, and no eyeballs.
Yeah, and he does. We don't know what it is, but he and his great granddaughter, they reached out their hands and starts a blue light illuminates between the two.
He's doing some sort of I know what you call energy transference. Something or other, I don't know, but it looked good.
Anyway, then while this is happening, we start seeing ghosts or hovering in different parts of the boat. One bit where
ship.
where one scene where our influences they hear the famous "Near to Me, God's" music, and we see the ghostly violinist playing his violin, and then they try to dance, and then eventually somehow the male influencer, what's his name? Jackson. He gets sucked up into the mist.
No, some hands grab him from behind. You don't see whose hands they are, and he disappears into the foggy mist around the boat.
Hal approaches Mrs. Stone, and she says her husband disappeared, all that stuff.
And Hal wasn't terribly worried.
Yeah, he's more concerned about that she's wealthy, considering that she's a wealthy influencer.
Yeah, and he might be able to sell her some jewellery, but he said, I'll see you in the bar in a few minutes, and we'll go looking for him later on. He's probably around somewhere. And then she goes to get the camera, or their iPhone, or whatever she got, and what happened?
Then the violinist spirit appears, and he strings a high note that kind of causes her to suffer either a heart attack or an ear attack.
What happens? She's dead on the ground anyway.
Yeah, whatever it was really weird.
Yeah, and then the security guard, another guy who might be doing security.
Yeah, they accuse him of being possibly killing one or two of them.
Yeah, they had a couple of run-ins earlier on in the movie, which he didn't like their attitude and they didn't like him. Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
It matters
anyway,
not.
He gets taken into custody and taken downstairs later. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the captain and her team, they start developing weird frequencies on their computers.
The computers are starting to drop out, and radar and the controls of ship's thing are starting to be going a bit dodgy.
Yeah, they even some of the men in the bows of the ship have vanished. Which is odd because
they got in the engine room and stuff. Yeah,
there's only one guy there, and he sees probably one of the old ghosts who used to be either a fireman or something. It doesn't matter.
Probably a fireman.
And he gets killed too by getting his head slashed.
He had no head. He lost his head, literally.
Now it gets a little scary, and they try to start up the engines.
At this point, off all the computers playing up, they had to stop the motors, or the motor stopped, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the computers weren't working, they were going through reboots and whatever, but then the boat started moving by itself.
Hint, hint.
Yeah,
they tried to stop it, and we noticed there's a lot of icebergs and field ice too, I guess. I don't know much about
a lot of ice, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So they're in dangerous grounds at this point, and...
Yep. They couldn't steer it, they couldn't power it, they couldn't turn the motor on, off, whatever. Yeah, it was on autopilot.
Hal gets placed into a room for his own safety and
they're supposed to be incarcerated.
And this is the room I was mentioning earlier that looks like it was taken from an old boat. It doesn't look very new. It looks very
point. This room had some old style lockers in it,
bunks,
and a couple of bunk things with a bit of canvas and some rope. Tying it onto these metal formers.
It makes me think of
the walls look dodgy and worn and tattered and like
it
the
makes me think
of
some old boats. Like there's this boat in Brisbane that there's moored that allows people to walk on board and tour
really
around.
Old boat,
and it makes me think of the bunks from that.
It's pretty old and okay.
Yeah, meaning that they didn't put much thought into.
They could have cleaned it up or made a dummy setup just for that one room.
Yeah,
because that took away a little bit. Wait a minute.
Yeah, this place is brand spanking new hallways.
And this looked like it was something like 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever, And
they kind of redesigned the whole boat,
it's supposed to look like the old boat, but everything behind the scenes was supposed to be state-of-the-art technology and everything.
Exactly, just like the Titanic II we mentioned.
Yeah.
That was a brand spanking boat, but with
let's get away from the boat's manufacturer and warranties and everything else. And
anyway, Hal encounters his own ghost when he's alone, and this frightens him so much.
They find him laying on the floor in a fetal position, scared and crying like a child.
Yeah, he then gets taken to the captain, and he tries to explain what's happening, and
what he thinks is a reason for it, and
he then goes on and spouts about ghosts and stuff, and this is not the first time they spouted about ghosts. Some other person who was that Julie person, the girl that was who was a fan of those influences, she approaches the captain too and tells him that what she saw in their last video. She says that it looks like ghosts and stuff like that. Yeah. Of course, they calm her down, saying it's nothing. It's just it's just a glitch in the video. Yada yada yada. Don't worry about it. We don't have a ghost problem. Bull f shit whatever.
And her name wasn't Julie.
Oh sorry.
Julie was the lady who was actually working for the boat.
Oh, sorry.
I don't remember her name. Doesn't matter. Anyway.
So now they seriously have big problems up their sleeve.
So things are getting worse too. The computers are going on and off more and stuff, and we're starting to get power flickers and stuff, and and they lose power, don't they?
They do, and they soon start seeing the ghosts, and even Captain Smith's daughter appears. Eventually, she gets some new powers along the way.
Grandpa or great grandpa gives them extra powers.
Yeah. She starts throwing people around. She even approaches the panel, and the new captain. What's his name again? What's the lady captain's name?
Honey Bunny. I don't know. What's her name? Captain Celeste.
Okay, Captain Celeste. She tries to appeal to Captain Smith, who's possibly possessing his granddaughter, the great-granddaughter, sorry.
She's appealing to the spirit inside.
Yeah, telling him you cannot reverse a time, you cannot bring these people
and you're no longer
back.
in charge of this boat. I'm the captain. Yeah, that's also just trying to reason with the spirit.
Yeah.
Buckley's.
Yeah, and soon enough, his granddaughter slices her throat. Killing herself. Yeah. Meaning, there's no way of...
no quarter.
No reasoning, no negotiations whatsoever. Even though I imagine the original Captain Smith would be a reasonable person.
Not necessarily. He's the one telling her what to do.
True.
He was a very nice man in reality.
But I like to think that these people who take on the forms of these dead individuals, I think they're demons possessing these long dead people.
Don't read too much into it, okay?
I like to think that. So I don't think
he went down with the boat and he stayed up his boat and he's
I like to think those spirits would be up in heaven, feeling
or hell, depending who they are.
Depending who they are, and depending if whether I don't think Captain Smith would be tied his body to. I mean, tied his life to that boat. I don't think.
Well, he went down the ship.
True.
Now, move on right along.
Okay. So, anyway, let me see what happens. Oh, yeah. So, he then crashes the boat into a very big iceberg the size
Surprise.
yes, cutting into it, just
Down,
like its sister did.
Port, Warstar, whatever.
Yeah.
The sight of Big Gash in all the other movies.
Yeah. And now we're in deep water, so to speak. Big deep water.
Just 2 miles deep there, I think.
Yeah.
That's
So,
deep.
so they have no other choice but to evacuate their ship of sorts. So
Wouldn't they give you the ships?
what?
Wouldn't they give you the ships?
Oh, that's right. Anyway, hopefully this time around they will have plenty of lifeboats. We don't see too many lifeboats on the boat, but I imagine it's quite similar to the other one.
No, they actually said there was enough lifeboats in this one.
Yeah.
No, we're okay. We're not like the first one.
I'm not sure if they got around to contacting any latest boats in this facility.
I think they was. They initially couldn't get anybody, but then they got onto somebody, but they're a few hours away.
Possibly.
Gee, that's familiar, isn't it?
Gee. But this time around, they may save more than just 200 people this time around.
I don't know, you see.
Good point.
It did sink pretty fast.
Yeah, this time, unlike its sister movies, this one, it sinks quite quickly.
Well, it seems to be going quickly. I know there would be time hops and time jumps and that sort of stuff, but it seemed to be going down pretty fast.
But it seems by the time we reach to the part where the Titanic is sinking, at this point, we're coming to the end of the movie, and there's only a little time left. They might have hinted the time frame in, but it just seemed to be going down faster in the film itself. Yeah. So, unlike its previous ones, where it took.
They might have had 2 hours to get off the boat. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It might have had half an hour or something. Yeah.
So anyway, they gather as many people as they can, get them into the boats as quick as they can. There was even one bit where the latch on the boat's ropes. It kind of crashes into the water, just like it's original.
The more I think about it, I think they got all the people off the boat because the captain. I'm not getting on the lifeboat until everybody's off, and she was doing the last couple when, right near the end when the boat was sinking. So they must have got everybody off, but whether they all survived is a different thing.
It is a different thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, by the time the boat is being pulled under the water. We don't know if it snaps in two. We don't know. Doesn't matter.
Well, it didn't snap in two, this one. Nah. I didn't have time for it to snap in two.
Anyway, eventually we see how on one of the lifeboats on his own, and he's pretty frozen. He was in the water.
Well, he only had his shirt and his pants on, so it would have been a bit cold there. He was shivering. Yeah, Hal Cochrane, the professor guy. And
we soon see
Captain
Celeste getting herself pulled out of the water.
Yeah, she swims out of the boat and she grabs and he helps her on.
Yeah, and we think that maybe maybe I kept thinking maybe she was one of the dead souls or something like that.
No, she's one of the live ones. She looks very good to me. Yeah, very alive, warm-bodied.
He slowly Hal slowly dies from probably freezing to death.
Well, his injuries. He had a head wound as well. So yeah. Anyway, he died. And poor Hal.
And then you know what happened?
He turned into
one of them.
And he lunges at the captain, and we fade to black.
Hinting maybe the captain was not meant to leave the ship.
She was going to die too.
I think both the Hal and her were being punished for their...
They were destined. Well, no, she wasn't being punished, but she was going to go down because vengeance be mine, saith the spirits.
Even though they were not responsible for the original sinking of the other boat.
The captain went down to the ship on the last one, and this captain wasn't going to get away either. Now, getting back to the survivors you mentioned before, even if they got it into the lifeboats, the dead people in the water from the 100 years ago might have attacked the boats and killed those people who would have in turn turned into ghouly, ghosty things and killed the other people. So we don't know because there's no filming of any boats or anything else. It just went. The boat went. The Titanic went down. Man lying in the boat by himself. Captain comes over. They're both dead. Fade to black. We don't know what happened to the other people. We would presume. I presume they all died. Because they weren't going to let anyone get away. These spirits were very vengeful. Yeah. They would have sunk all the boats and killed them all. Probably.
I like to think they survived.
And fade to black. Now,
I like to think they survived.
I like to think they all died. I mean, no, well, come on, it's a horror movie. Now, that gets on to something here. There's not too many critics' reviews at the moment.
No, this is very brand spanking new, guy.
But one guy made a comment. It's not a horror movie. Oh no, horror movies. I think I won't mention his name, but it says not a horror. No blood, no gore, no freakiness.
Oh yeah, this is more like off-screen deaths here and there.
But the point still remains is, it's not a slasher movie. It's not Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie. It's a movie with horrific themes in it.
Yeah, I should mention, guys, that throughout the movie, whenever someone got killed off or something, their bodies disappeared. Like the Rose Red from Stephen King's movie.
Yeah,
where
that was a top movie, that Rose Red.
Every time the person comes in contact with one of these evil spirits, their body vanishes. And
in some cases,
like there was even one scene with the that Miss Stone. She appears as one of the ghoul ghosts, whatever. I'm gonna call her a bit of a ghoul, considering.
Yeah. What was a ghoul? A ghoul, someone eats the dead.
Okay, maybe not, but they did suck the life out of these people. I don't know. They keep sucking this weird air into them. I don't know what it is.
Whatever,
It could be their souls
or life essence. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
It matters not at this point.
But horror is a horrific thing. Doesn't mean you got to have blood, guts, and gore and dead, burnt bodies all over the place. No, it's a horrific.
There was a bit of gore where the old lady gets approached by one of the ghosts, and she gets choked to death by the necklace she bought from Hal.
And blood came out. But it's again, it's not a Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not a Halloween. It's an ordinary horror movie. Now, and this same guy called this ritual downstairs in the cargo hold a seance. Obviously, he doesn't know the difference between a ritual and a seance.
Obviously not.
He says, it's a tame thriller. Yeah, maybe. With quite a few plot holes.
I can see.
What plot holes? It works for me. The people who had a bit of back history, they all worked. I just don't know how the hell a young, good-looking female was in charge of a brand new luxury liner.
I can see what he means, though.
What?
Like when Miss Stone, the influencer guys, they see her there. They don't report it to the captain. They just continue on their merry way and think it was just all part of the.
But they didn't give a shit.
Entertainment.
They don't care. No, they didn't think it was anything to do with entertainment. Why, how they be entertaining somebody by yourself downstairs in the boat's hold? Well, the girl was doing a ritual. I said I was doing her own thing. I don't care. Walked off. Didn't concern them. They were self-absorbed. I told that before we started this.
I know that.
They didn't give a shit about anybody except themselves. That's one of the reasons why they were first targeted. Okay, they were in the wrong place, wrong time.
I do agree with the reviewer that he says that there was a few, maybe not potholes, but there were a lot of things that needed a little bit more clarification.
Something new, but. I mean,
like maybe a way to appease the spirits, maybe.
No, they didn't want to be pleased. Oh, we'll make it all better.
Good point. But
they're all dead.
There was even a scene where they thought maybe they'll throw the jewelry and the other bits back into the water to prevent them continue killing. But according to the great-granddaughter, she says that you guys are cursed, all that stuff. But she was the one who cursed them, technically.
She cursed them by doing the ritual.
Yeah.
That's the part. So that's the only thing that's a bit strange. They said, oh, you're cursed. No, she cursed them by having the ritual.
Yeah, the one thing that's weird also, guys, is her costume in one of the scenes. She wore this green 1917 century dress. And this was...
it wasn't 19th.
Okay, not...
It had an oldish look to it. It wasn't modern.
It had an oldish... I mean, and it didn't really... I mean, the 17th century type dress, I should say.
17th? There we go. How many centuries going back now?
I'm sorry. It's just that the dress looked too...
An old-style dress.
It doesn't look like something from the 1912 is what I'm referring to. This one looked like it was before the Titanic. It looked like something I watched in a Jane Austen novel.
It wasn't that bad.
It's just what I think.
It was just an old-style dress, okay?
Yeah, but if she wanted to appear...
She's a good old-fashioned girl, okay?
She could have just dressed something that will appeal to the period. The
And it might have been that period. That style of dress probably would have been still current in that period.
I don't think so.
But she wasn't dressed to please. That's her ordinary clothes. She might like retro. She might have been a gothic. I don't know. I don't particularly care about a green dress.
Anyway, I mean, I don't know what I find wrong with the movie. To be honest.
think what this guy, this one reviewer I found on a site, I know he's trying to say to be a horror movie, he would like to see a little bit more, not just a jump scare here and a jump scare there, and maybe a little bit more horror action in it. Instead of saying, oh, there's a guy, he's dead now. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, maybe a little bit more development of the horror aspect of it. Maybe, yeah.
I would have loved it if it was like something out of House on Haunted Hill or something.
More information for the people who haven't seen it.
Okay, I would like to see it a little bit more gorier and a little bit more. I guess a little bit bloody would not go astray.
A bit more physical stuff happening, maybe. Yeah, a bit more action with the horror bits. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead
they could have been a tad better. Yes, maybe.
Yeah, because whenever I look at House on Haunted Hill, that movie scared me as a child and scares me as an adult.
What, the old one or the new one?
The new one.
Yeah,
that one scared me a lot more.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's quite good, actually. Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, I was scared of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about the Titanic 666
Look, this one isn't as scary as it could be. I think that's what the guy was alluding to. And I think, maybe they could have done a little bit more to give it that edge, maybe.
I mean, the jump scares are cool, but as I said in the past, jump scares are fine, but you can only do so much with them.
Yeah, but no, I think that's what he's alluding to. Okay, there's a dead guy, rah, someone died, let's move on to the next bit. And it could have been a little bit more.
And I would have loved to seen how the ghosts kill these people. I mean, we see them killed, but when the body's discovered, we just don't get a close-up shot of what their expression is. We just see them.
Well, the guy downstairs, the engine room had no head. He would look really surprised, wouldn't he?
I would have loved to see maggots crawling out of it or something.
You wouldn't have maggots
gross.
that fast. It takes so many hours to develop maggots.
Okay, I get it. But it would have been cool to see something, like maybe something gross coming out of there or something would be cool.
Well, whatever. But it could have been a few more little things there to beef it up a little bit. But then again, now having said that, I don't know what the budget was.
Me too.
Now, if this is a skinny budget to go to streaming sort of thing, the budget might have been low. Having said that, if it's got a low budget, they've done what they could do with what they had. So you can't turn to, well, they should have done this. I mean, they might have had a couple of mil to play with, not 30 mil or 40 mil, just a couple of mil to put this movie together, if that. You say they did whatever they did at a location shoot on a boat. They did what special effects they could do to make it work. And they couldn't do everything. Maybe a bit of extra work in the post-edit might have helped. Probably not. I think it is what it is. It looks to me like a lower budget type movie made for streaming, and that's what it is. So you're not going to get an A-grade theatrical release type movie quality out of one of those.
Yeah, it's a shame.
You can't. No, you can't. You haven't got the budget. With budget constraints, you cannot do everything. So, having said that, when I come to grade it, I'll be grading it on the fact that it is a low budget streamer, so I'll give it a slightly higher grading because there's only so much you can do with the budget allocated. And I think they spent the money wisely, even though there's a couple of little weak points here and there.
I would have liked to find out how at the beginning, in the opening, where we see the original Titanic sink to the bottom, that when that girl got attacked by the that ghost apparition or whatever, that I would love to explore that part to it more. Was there maybe something that's attached to the original Titanic that made this happen?
No. That was a problem. When I saw that, I thought, wait a minute, this is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to Mike the other day, after we watched this movie, that there was something that was in the bows of the boat where there was a mummy, an ancient mummy.
Oh, in the original Titanic, which sank over 100 years ago.
See, there was an ancient mummy, and there may have been a curse on the mummy. I don't know. I haven't found out where this mummy came from.
That makes a good story, hey?
This very mummy was on the Titanic boat, and like clockwork, it sank the boat, obviously. And I would have loved to have seen, maybe they could have mentioned it, maybe it would explain why these people were
Did that mummy actually think the original Titanic?
Yeah, were they destined to die because of an ancient Egyptian curse or something? That would be something, even though we know the facts, we know the historic documents, we know how it sank because of human error and stupidity.
Yeah. However.
But it would make for an interesting
movie
backstory to how where these ghosts started making their appearance.
Okay. How about that?
It would be just something interesting. Just like when they did the House on Haunted Hill sequel, where they explained that there was a small statue that was a devil statue of sorts.
Demon,
which kind of makes that makes the House on Haunted Hill cursed.
Yeah.
And then it causes all these
good groovy stuff happen to make a good movie.
Yeah, something like that. It would have been good to come up with a good backstory to why this is happening, aside from a witch trying to bring these spirits back to life.
Well, that's what it was. That's what the backstory was. Okay.
I know.
She was going to get revenge for her great-great-grandpa. Okay?
Why would she care about her great-great-grandpa? He doesn't know.
She'd been mentally tortured by his spirit and other spirits all her life, and that was her way of putting it to rest.
Even though that meant killing herself?
Well, maybe that wasn't in the plan. But anyway, maybe her great-grandpa said, "You're going to join us, kitty." You know, who knows?
Yeah, I heard her say, was it grandpa or something?
Great-grandpa. She called him great-grandpa.
Yeah, you said something about it.
Yeah, family reunion.
Yeah, it's too bad you have to give her a hug.
Ooh, cold, wet, clammy.
I don't think she'd care, considering how crazy she is.
Well, she smiled at him. Hi, Gramps. Yeah.
Anyway,
okay, I'm going to give it.
Let's rate this now.
Well, I said everything. He had nothing else to talk about, is there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We don't have facts.
Well,
anyway.
there's nothing to talk about. As being a streamer and stuff, there's not enough production information. I mean, it's on a boat. Yeah. Look, I'm going to give it a 9. I was going to grade it a bit lower, but I consider the budget constraints might have hampered the overall production. So I'm going to give it a 9. I would have given it an 8 or 8.5 otherwise.
I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 myself, because I just feel like there's something missing from this production.
Some dynamics could have been added to it while you're working some of the scenes a tad better, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe the end could have done something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the guy floating in the boat and then the captain coming over and then he just doing a quick jump scare, killing it, and goes to black. We have no idea what happened to the other boats.
Yeah. Well,
of all the other people, did they die or not? I know it leaves it hanging. What, are we going to do a sequel, are we? It would have been nice to see the spirits dragging these people into the water or something. It would have been really a good closer.
Yeah, well, if that did it, I mean, if that was the case, the people in the original Titanic, the one with that ghost appeared in that one.
Yeah.
There was no explanation. Well, there is an explanation. We had 700 survivors, obviously, and
a shitload of people that didn't.
Yeah, that were in the water.
Yeah.
And died.
And they had the shits because they didn't get to New York.
Yeah, how would you feel if you didn't get to do your first trip
to New York?
Well, there you go.
My first trip abroad, and I died. I'm really annoyed. You know. In steerage.
I still feel annoyed that none of the people back then ever took better safety of their third and second class passengers more. Instead
and the ship's cat. What happened to the ship's cat? Whatever. No, we didn't even see the cat anywhere.
It is a bit sad when I think about the old Titanic, that all those people not surviving.
It's not good, no. Anyway, irrespective. Now, this is going to be the last Titanic movie we do.
Yeah, sorry guys we're making this.
It's not Titanic month or anything.
If I didn't knew about the Titanic 666, I would have just moved on to greener pastures.
We thought Sarah and I in our collection have, I wouldn't say every Titanic movie. However, we have the original black and white ones, the English version, the American one, Clifton Webb I've got, the one of the English one, Not to Remember. We've got quite a few, and then Leonardo DiCaprio and the other one.
Yeah, and some ones I got that were more like dramas that deal with a one-sided of the how it got built, and other ones that deal and the epilogue of what happened after the Titanic
court
sunk.
hearings. So it's a pet.
Like the inquiries and stuff.
It's a pet interest that Sarah has, not much me. But,
I'm just curious of how come the Titanic never I guess I understand my obsession. Why I would like to find out for myself why it happened and why these
how much human shortcomings were involved in actually sinking.
And I like to find out the people, who were on the Titanic, how many have survived and how many decided to become heroes by saving as many lives as possible instead of just watch everyone die, including themselves.
Yeah, actually, we've got a moment. I read something recently that somebody is making out that Mr. Ishmael is a hero in the original sinking of the boat.
Well,
because he helped people get on the boat and other things, but he, for all accounts, was the one who tried to get everyone to make the boat go faster and try to beat the record. So he actually created the problem. He was in charge of the White Star Line, who was actually responsible for building the boat. And they approved the design, and the bulkheads in these watertight areas downstairs didn't go right up to the floor, up the top there, because it would have impacted on the design of the boat. So they weren't totally water sealed. So there's lots of little things like that. So he is responsible, and he did jump into a lifeboat and save himself in the end. And it's been about, he looked around and there was no one else there, so he jumped into the boat.
Yeah, and
when it was women and children only. Yeah, he doesn't look like a girl.
Yeah. And the guys who were lowering the boats, they didn't question him jumping in or bothered to.
Well, someone knew who he was and say, bugger him, they're lowering the boat, he jumped in the last minute. Get out, there's a spare seat. He just took the seat and then let all the other people die.
I mean, I think...
It wasn't a case where he went back home and said, I'll never let this happen again.
No, I mean, according to the White Star Line, they became bankrupt and he went on to being secluded for the rest of his life.
He went to seclusion, I believe, and never got over it totally, and he probably couldn't get a job either.
That's what happens when a business, especially when you're the most famous boats in history, would sink your business, so to speak.
The boat did sink its business by sinking.
Yeah, it's just like I'm going to bring up a real current event where Mike may kick me for this or hate me for this.
Kick.
Where Will Smith took belted Chris Rock, and all of a sudden his business is sinking. Him and his career is sinking.
Well, it has affected Will Smith. Yes. Now, I don't think Mr. Smith. I like Will Smith. I don't think he intended doing it. But okay, here's the but. Yeah. There's a behavioural thing in society. Yeah. He overstepped that boundary. He could have said, "Hey, that's unfair. Stop." Yeah, he could have slagged off. He could have done a verbal at him. But he went where and hit the guy. So he's responsible for his actions, like everybody else in the world is.
And now there's a new rule in the Oscars now, where if anyone belts or hurts or hits during one of their ceremonies, that person will be thrown out. And of course, Will Smith didn't get thrown out in this one because this one is the first time it happened.
It was the first time, and Chris Rock didn't go. It was his fault, but he didn't deserve being slapped or punched. Sometimes it was a slap. It could have been a punch. I think it was a slap. a hard slap across his face.
Yeah.
But it's still assault.
Yeah.
And he should have been. Will Smith should have been charged.
Yeah.
Yes, he lost his position on the board of the Oscars and whatever, and a few things, and it's affected some of his movie jobs. And so he's stuffed his career up now.
Yeah, who would have thought just
his
one slap,
credibility,
and now he's paying the horrible price for it.
And I don't think his wife was that upset about it when
in fact, once it went to press, a lot of people didn't back Will Smith. They kind of said how unfair and nasty he was about it. I mean, I don't know the man myself. I never worked with him, but I think that it's not really fair that everyone is trying to walk away from Will Smith.
And I'm going to say something here might annoy some people. But it doesn't matter whether you're white, Afro-American, Chinese, Polish, anything, English, Australian. There is an accepted code of conduct, and you got to meet it in your society, or there's no room for you in society. Go and live somewhere else. Okay?
That's been...
no, the point is, that's where problems happen. I'll do what I like. I didn't think before I did it. It's about time you did, guys. Yeah. That's not just Will Smith. I'm talking about other people who do stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I'll stop talking about Will Smith now.
Well, you started it.
I'm sorry, guys. It's just that this thing came up, and I feel... again, I'm not gonna dismiss Will Smith's previous movies.
Will Smith.
One day we'll probably review one of his works. I don't know which one, but
the space one, Independence Day.
Yeah, or iRobot. I mean, or even the I Am Legend one, which deals with zombies.
Yeah, that was like the Last Man on Earth remake. Yeah.
I'm not going to diss him. I'm not going to...
No, he's a good actor and stuff.
Yeah. He just did one big mistake.
Code of conduct.
And code of conduct. And I'm not going to change my opinion about him and say he got what he deserved. I mean...
No, that's up to... him, the courts, anybody else, and his family and friends, and his peers.
I'll still review his work and still give my best opinion about his work. Is what I'm saying.
He's a very good actor, and that has an error of judgment, passion. He could have been a little bit drunk at the time, could have been stoned for it. I don't know, but he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But other people do that too.
Yeah, I just wish people didn't overreact and start putting their worst thoughts about him.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's kill it.
I'll kill that.
I kill you.
Okay. So that's our review for tonight on the Titanic 666.
Now, no more Titanics.
Yeah, it's not really.
What we want to go ship instead.
Or what's the one called? The one you referred to me back.
What's that?
The Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, Poseidon. We won't do any boats for a couple of months,
no,
okay? We'll put it on the back burner.
I'll put it on the back burner. We'll put it in. We'll label it in our file somewhere.
Yeah, to be done in the future.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know what we've decided on.
Yeah,
so,
okay. Let you dry off for a couple of months.
Yeah. So, it's not on the Amazon yet.
No, I just said it's only on Tubby. It's a streamer.
Yes.
It may be released on another platform later on, but at the moment it's only on Tubby. But it's only a few weeks.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes these things do a bit there, and they get they get a bit further afield and stuff.
By the time this is done its streaming, and then they make plans to distribute the thing in DVDs, then
it might reach home media. Yeah.
Then you guys can check it out, or you could just check out the streaming. Obviously,
but Tubby, Tubby's a stream like all the other ones. So you have people who log into Tubby. Mm-hmm. Watch a movie.
Okay, that's about it for us tonight. So I'm pretty sure that's about it. So
goody.
So I'm just sorry that I don't have enough facts for you guys to play with.
We have enough facts.
So okay, guys, thanks for listening to our podcast, everyone. So this is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying, see you guys for our next podcast,
cool.
Everyone.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
for now.